The road is long, and it starts right here, going
Keep
all
going,
the way
keep
to
going, keep going.
Cheltenham in March. All you're getting. That is all you're getting from me. The road to Cheltenham,
Cheltenham.
we are right on the eve of the November meeting, so it's only right that we start mentioning the C word that comes to us in March. No, not that C word. I know Joel's on the show. We are talking Cheltenham, of course, the festival in March. And every single week, you can join me and these two fellows either side of me to look ahead to the greatest show on turf, reflect on all the weekend action, and look ahead to the following weekend as well. And of course, the Punter's Guide as well. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we will let you know whenever there is a new episode. Boys, it's not only upon us, it's 5 months ago away, but it's never too early, Frankie, to start talking about Cheltenham.
It's never too early. I've got to apologise for the hustle and bustle of Heathrow Airport. I won't make my apology too long, as I'll just get stick from you two for the rest of the show. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It matters that we are talking about Cheltenham. I can't wait. The Cheltenham brand is as strong as ever, I think. After going to the October meeting, you realise how much of a pull it has. You can see the same faces. People that maybe hadn't been interested in racing over the summer now come back and start talking about the jumps. You see all the big trainers turn up, jockeys turn up. It is time to start thinking about Cheltenham. And this weekend gives us some pointers.
Where are you going?
Bahrain International Trophy. So I'll be watching it from the Sun Lounge. But remember last year, we're going to talk about the Great Wood Hurdle. All right, Loader Sub was pulled up, but we had the inside scoop from Bahrain, didn't we? We had the Speedo scoop. we might get some of that, because Loader Sub does run this weekend, albeit over fences, for Sir Alex. So we might still have some Speedo scoop yet on the Punter's Guide Friday.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know where this is going already, Joel. How many Willie Mullins winners have we had in Bahrain?
What's that?
How many Willie Mullins trained winners have we had in Bahrain?
None yet.
yet being the operable word. Joel, Cheltenham, what does it mean?
For me, growing up, you ready? Get the violins out. I didn't have a lot of friends. You know, I was bullied quite badly.
Don't use the past tense.
Yeah, right. But horse racing was my escape. So I'd bunk off the 3 days then of school, watch Cheltenham with my granddad, my grandma in later life, and I've just loved it ever since. And a couple of years ago, I managed to take my missus because she can't get away from racing in the house, and took her, and we got that magical hour of Constitution Hill and Honeysuckle. So she thinks every single race meeting we ever go to is going to be like that. And I managed to have a little present for corporate hospitality that year as well.
You can thank me for that.
Yeah. I'll thank you for that. You didn't pay for it, obviously. But she messaged you and said, "What about this?" And we went. It was brilliant. So for me, it's the be all and end all. Last couple of years, it's got a bit of stick, but I don't mind whether I go, whether I watch it from home. I love it, and it is the be all and end all. And anybody who thinks any different.
It's what the year is all about. Talking, you mentioned the other C word, Constitution Hill. Frankie, we know you love Connie Hill, and all being well, we're going to see him back this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I suppose I can tee up the opposition first. You might be slightly worried reading the Racing Post. Nicky Henderson at 13% strike rate. Didn't have a single runner last Saturday. Jericho de Repene pulled up. There's all these sorts of warning signs, but I'm going to stick my neck out here and think that the Henderson Yard will have a good weekend. They've got Highland running again. They've got Iberico Lord. John Bond, I think, should be absolutely sweet. And I reckon that tees up Constitution Hill to get cracking. In my eyes, his form figures, they only read non-runner, pulled up, or first. I'm hoping it's going to be first.
And I've got the right man to talk about this as well, because Joel, I know we have a little bit of fun about the action itself, embarrassed, but drama always follows Nicky Henderson runners, and it was no different this weekend, was it, on Sunday?
Jericho de Repene, for me, I'll put it out there straight away. I don't think this. I would put my life on the fact there's no skullduggery going off here. I watched when I come home yesterday and the TV was on. There was an unbeaten South African horse went from odds on to 9-2, missed the break by 7 lengths. I expect it. There's certain trainers in Ireland, you expect it. This, I just think, was a bizarre situation and shows British horse racing off to not a great light, because if it wasn't someone like Nicky Henderson, you go, there's something going on here. So Jericho de Repene was playing up this is what I gather from watching it as a punter, but picking up afterwards. Playing up never has done in the past. I think Nicky Henderson said something like it was trying to break a line in, like trying to break a line in. So Nico takes the saddle off, takes it back to the pre-parade ring, resaddles it, disappears for 10 or 15 minutes. The vet checks it over, then comes back. At this point, it's gone from 1 to 5 to 8 to 11, and then runs like I've never seen those jumps before. Flew one. I think it was the third railway as well. I mean, he took Venus and Mars. Flew one of those, like ballooned it, smashes one, third railway fence, and gets pulled up. Now people are going, "Oh, this is a bit dodgy," but if I'm standing there in the parade ring and I've got my phone here and I've got a little bit of service and I see what's going on there, and I'm not a layer of horses. I've probably laid 5 horses in my lifetime. A class 6 at Wolverhampton that's a maiden after 20, and it's 1 to 6. I'll lay that for 200 quid, to cost me 40 quid if it wins. I would have stood there and I would have laid that horse. I think that is why the horse has drifted, because, I'm all for conspiracy theories and whatever, but Nicky Cage did a really good interview. Sometimes he says too much, sometimes he doesn't say enough, but I just think it was a shocker all round, just the way it was handled.
It's not just that, it's the latest, like Frankie, it's the latest, isn't it? I mean, like, we all go back to Twin Binocular and that Willie Mullins run, and he did in the champion hurdle, and then obviously we had Sprinter Sacrano, we had heart issues, and then we had Altior, then we've had Constitution Hill, and it just always seems to be a lot of drama around his runners, whether it's ground related or whether they will appear or not.
It does, and sometimes the headlines don't help him, or sometimes the words that Nick Henderson uses don't help him, because it's never a case of, will John Bond run on Cheltenham on Saturday? Yes, he's ready. It's always, well, if we get there, you think, come on, we're 4 days away, 5 days away. He should be just, yes, that's the plan. So I suppose that doesn't help, and yeah, the drama does follow. But as I said, Iberico Lord, I don't think he's a superstar in waiting over fences anyway. Like, what did he really achieve over hurdles? Obviously, he didn't get to run his race at Cheltenham, as loads of Henderson runners didn't. But I wouldn't have him down as a superstar, so I'm not that bothered that, things didn't go to plan for him. And as I said, I'll stick my neck out. I think he's going to have a good weekend this weekend. And the conversations that people start having about Constitution Hill after this weekend, if it is a good one for the yard, will be drastically different to what they are now. So I'm keeping the optimism until proven otherwise post Cheltenham. So we'll check in next week on that.
Can I go back to Constitution Hill? Because, obviously Frankie's pretty much married to Constitution Hill. Is this not, if it turns up at Cheltenham, is this not the biggest 7-4 shot in the world ever? I was looking at the top of the market last night. Lossiemouth probably go the mares at 5-1. Stateman 9 lengths behind Constitution Hill. Ballyburn might go the stayers, but will have to be at Tiapu. And Sagino, not a clue, missed the festival last year. Unless something comes out of left field, and you don't mind sitting on a 7-4 shot. If this race was tomorrow, what is it, 1 to 10? And also,
well, I can argue against you here, because it was the Betfred St. Ledger meeting. I was sat on the steps looking at 7-4 Constitution Hill for the champion hurdle, and the closer we got, the more I said, what a stupid decision not to back him. And then obviously what happened did. So you can't get carried away this early.
But it is.
We need him.
We need him, and if Constitution Hill turns up with at least 3 legs, it'll take the beating of all this lot. I mean, no one's really going to set on a 7-4 shot unless you're a big hitter. But if you knew something and you went, look, it'll come at the fighting fifth, and then it'll go on to Cheltenham. If you knew that 7-4 is almost, trebling your money, printing money. But it's just about, I don't know whether he'll make it. I mean, he will. I think he will, but he might not. So
he's showing off for me at this stage. But I say we do need him. Us Brits do need him, because the Irish continue to dominate, and there are a few runners coming over. In fact, they dominated races, they dominated the declaration of the October meeting, and it could be more of the same this weekend, because they are targeting Cheltenham more and more, and some of our trainers are deciding to avoid it and head to Aintree. So, do we expect more Emerald Isle domination this season, John?
Yeah, I would have thought so, and I think Nicholls will have a better season this year. Frankie did say on the Punter's Guide on Friday, you might as well delete this podcast now. Was it 4 or 5 timer at the weekend? And the only one that I tipped up didn't win. The only one. But to be fair, his own daughter on the TV, that was the one she tipped up, and it didn't win. So we can't win them all, can we? But, it'd be nice to see Nicky Henderson and Paul Nicholls come back to the Cheltenham Festival. And I think, and Dan Skelton, and Fergal O'Brien, there's lots of them. But I'm really hoping for a big season for Paul Nicholls this year. Listen to interviews with him on podcasts and TV and read. He's doing nothing different. He's still working as hard as he says. But I think last year it was just something not right. And obviously the Henderson horses weren't right. But I think we'll give it a really good go this year. And we can be proud to be British again.
Yeah, Frankie, obviously Nicholls has hit form. Do you expect him to have more of the festivals? Again, we need him just to try and stave off this Irish domination.
Yeah, I wouldn't be overly confident of Nicholls having a good Cheltenham Festival in March, but I would be confident that he does well throughout the season. Don't know why. He never does he? And I don't feel like this is going to be the year that changes. I'm happy to follow Nicholls all year round. He's a fantastic trainer. He gets horses in the right places, gets them fit. He'll probably have a few winners this weekend, or I'd be certain they would. But for the festival, for actual Cheltenham Festival, I'd be more looking towards Skelton in the handicaps, Henderson to get his Grade 1 horses right, and then, a couple from others. That's how I would see the festival, or see us trying to withstand the Irish dominance anyway.
You mentioned Dan Skelton. You mentioned, obviously, the handicaps that he targets, but now he's going to dip in his toe in the graded races. Grade Dawning winning last year, potential Gold Cup hope. Is he our rising star to try and give the Brits some pride back this year?
I think so. And he's been pretty clear about his intentions. Protector out, obviously, they feel like they might have got a new lease of life out of him. He's up there in the Grade 1s, Grade Dawning. Really exciting. Loader Sud that we mentioned made a good start over fences and was progressing nicely. So he has got those to compete near the top. But he also is building a reputation quite quickly from his old mate Joel's old mate Langadan as being the man to get them well handicapped. And yeah, you would be surprised if he doesn't show up in Cheltenham in the handicaps. There's a couple with strangely horses that have won big pots but still seem well handicapped, like Le Milos. Won a Hennessy, but I feel like he's really well handicapped. There's a couple of those knocking about. Ballygriffin Cottage runs this weekend on Sunday. I think it's well handicapped. So I think definitely Dan will be in the winners' enclosure again. And I think potentially people might be trying to do the same as he's done. He had so much success last season. I think trainers might be starting to think, well, if we haven't quite got that great horse to take on Willie Mullins, could we plot a slightly cleverer route and have a crack at the handicaps? But yeah, I think he's a big trainer to follow this year. I think he'll be in contention again for the Trainers' Championship.
I know you're a big fan, John. Ever since he called you fat at the buffet at Doncaster.
Yeah, he called me a fat beat, didn't he? This is Dan Skelton, who, I mean, to be fair, big Dan, and I'm carrying this tray of stuff. He's just called me a fat. You know what? Outrageous. Major Fortune I put up. I said my mate Paul's got a leg in this. Won again, seasonal debut. Probably goes to Haydock. Got a couple of entries at Cheltenham, and then they're probably going to put it away for the until the festival itself. That horse that you didn't let me put up because you said I can only have two was that one beginning with V. What the hell is that called? Absolutely smashed the field. I thought it was going to be really good horse this year. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, you got that. And, the likes of Langadan. I mean, where do we go this year with Langadan? How do we do it? I mean, Harry was in a bit of hot water earlier this month as well. It was the end of last month on that ride where there was only two horses left. And, I'll say it as I see it. I thought it was as blatant as I've seen with Sammy and Harry Skelton there. The media covered it, but I watch every race every day, and for me, no. I mean, there's getting ones well handicapped, and from just my opinion, nobody else's. From my opinion, watching that, there's ones that didn't look like they fancied winning that day, and I thought that was one of them.
Okay, right. Well, let's put that to the side, and let's just have a look at what we've seen in the season so far. Well, we head into this weekend. Anything positive or negative that you think either, oh yes, I'm keeping that on side, or no, I really want to take that on and I don't like it, even though it's been highly touted, Joel, from this season? Anything so far?
Monte Carlo Hendo's on Thursday. Did you see that? Really like that one. What else? A King Churchian, which we put up on the Punter's Guide. Loved that at Aintree at the weekend for Pipe and Jack Tudor. I think that'll get the Welsh National now, so we're money beyond that one. And of course, we should have all been on it and all been, tipping it up as a nap of the weekend. Mr. Megson? Yeah. That was the one. That looks a proper horse to me. And, visually, let's look back in a couple of days and see what it beat. But for me, visually, what an engine. Looked really good to me.
Yeah. Frankie, saying to you anything positive or negative?
Valgrand was the horse, Joel, for the Skeltons. That begins with a V. One to look out for and runs this weekend for punters. Not just saying this because we napped it, but Imperial Saint was backed off the boards like he was going to win like a good thing, and definitely did. I think that's probably a sign to come for Dickie Johnson's team that he's building.
Well, we called it on the punter's guide. We called it on the punter's guide, didn't we? We said it's Dickie Johnson, the colour of Dickie Johnson's family in there, syndicate, friends and family. Michael Nolan is not going to stuff this up. Let's be honest. One of the best national hunt jockeys the last 40 years is standing there and giving the instructions.
No, it was good, and it was a good ride as well. It's a brilliant ride.
Yeah, it was a great ride.
The two in front went quite hard, didn't they? Romeo Coolio made a expectedly positive start to hurdles. He's got a fair old engine. I'd quite like to see him tested against better horses. And this is just one I want to give a shout, not one to follow. But how about Al Dancer? I've got my whole thing about man getting one just like right for a big day, isn't he? Any horse, that could be off 500 days. It could be top of the weight. It could be whatever. If he wants to target a race, he gets one ready. But sorry, that's going off topic. Imperial Saint was good. Romeo Coolio, looking forward to him. Mr. Megget was also on my list. And as yet, no absolute stars. Nothing I've been going mental about, to be honest. I think that this weekend.
No. So Mr. Megget caught the eye. Bill Joyce as well. So they're the John Joe horses that were close to. But what about yesterday? I mean, I was really taken for the first mile and a half with the jumping of Calais de Belay. I mean, they took a potential Gold Cup down the line. They were that was a Cheltenham Festival winner and passed the row as well. And, he was jumping. He was so economical in his jumps. I know he came down and he crashed with the fourth last, but the way he was laying up, and we'll never know what will happen, but he's talked about him in the same breath as Cordo Star, Euphrodon and Clanders Obo as a 4-year-old. I have not seen a horse jump that well, that economical for a long time as a 4-year-old, and just his fifth start. And I say, we don't know what would have been, and it was a long way from home. And I say he crashed through and hopefully don't affect his confidence. But I was really taken with the way Calais de Belay jumped yesterday. And, we might get a nice price about him next time after that tumble.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. We said this, didn't we, on the Pundit's Guide as well? Any of Nicholls' horses that are decent, kind of potential Grade 1 challengers, but maybe not, like a Supreme Novice type or one of Willie Mullins' speedy 2-milers, but still Grade 1 standard, will get better when they go over bigger obstacles. He gets them jumping well. He did look pretty slick, didn't he? Looked pretty classy. I guess I agree with you in everything you said, because you just hope that fall doesn't knock his confidence. But to be honest, Nicholls will school him and it'll get him right again. And if anything, you will get a bit of a better price, won't you? Yeah, I agree. He was slick. He was cool. Albeit fell.
And also, don't judge me. When I left work for work this morning at 4:30, you would check on the kids, you check on the missus, you check on anything else. The first thing I did is check on the well-being of the horse. Because the racing post wouldn't put anything up at that point, and it was a heavy fall and looked bad. But up until that point, like you say, I thought we got something really special here. But that's just racing.
It is. Right, let's look ahead to this weekend then. Frankie, we'll put your favourite race to the side and we'll come back to that separately shortly. Obviously, we've got the big Paddy Power Gold Cup handicap chase, but what are you most looking forward to, Joel, this weekend so far? Is the big competitive Paddy Power? Is there a graded horse you've got your eye on?
Early on, I had it between the Paddy Power. I had it between Ginny's Destiny, which is is rightly favourite, and Fugitive for Richard Hobson. And just watching back these videos earlier this morning, last couple of races, pulled up at Ayr and pulled up at Aintree, was fourth in it last year, beating 16 lengths. It was cruising. He started making some really out of character mistakes, and I'm just thinking, with a little bit of time off and the pulling up of those two, probably get a little bit closer. Still a bit skinny at around 14-1. I think Ginny's Destiny is the worthy favourite, but I thought Fugitive. I do like Richard Hobson as a stable. Protector Rat is also priced up. Not sure if he'll go. But, Fugitives, I keep going back to this in my tracker. And, brushes up the jumping. I'm just thinking that there might be something in him for this year.
Okay, Frankie, before we talk about the Great Wood, anything else before that?
Race of the weekend, Matt. Two of Nicky Henderson's. I don't know if I'm going to back them yet. I don't know if I'm confident enough to back them, but I'm definitely keen to see how they get on.
Run.
Yeah, I won't be back in the Manzi post. Shanna Bob, who he said has grown up a lot. He was like a big gangly novice hurdler, wasn't he? But apparently he's grown into those long legs and makes his chasing debut. The reason I said I don't know if I'll back him is just because with comments like that probably come the same sort of mentality of give him time, take it easy on his first start. He's a bit of a big baby, so I don't expect they'll be going mad with him this weekend. But I just want to see him jump well. I think he's got a big engine underneath there and could be a good 3-mile chaser. So Shanna Bob, and then also don't laugh. Last year's Great Wood Hurdle winner, Iberico Lord, making his debut over bigger obstacles. I think it's a pretty classy animal. Again, just that kind of time of year, and will they leave this or some in the tank for later on in the year? Maybe less so with Iberico Lord, but at first look, I think he's overpriced.
Okay, go on then. I'll give you the floor. Your favourite race from last year, the race that kept working out, and every single week it was copy and paste on the punter's guide. Great Wood Hurdle form. There it is.
This is like having the keys to the bank. This race, it's like having the keys to an ever-depositing savings account, week after week. Big handicap hurdle after handicap hurdle. Right, I'm going to bore you, because if you didn't listen to the punter's guide last year, if you're new here, you won't know what we're on about. But last year's Great Wood Hurdle, I'll read you the top 6. Iberico Lord won it. He won the Betfair Hurdle. Lookaway was second. He was second in the Challow next time out, and he was third in the Great Wood at Aintree. Lucia was third. She won an Ascot handicap next time out and was third in the Champion Hurdle. Sonigino, are you yawning yet, Joel? No, we'll keep going. Won an Aintree.
No, I was just going to say, how's Lucia's season turned out this season?
The Mean Lion won the Kingwell, and Go Dante won a Cheltenham next time out, third in the Betfair, and won the Imperial Cup. I think 4 of the first 6 won next time out in handicaps, and the 2 that didn't went into graded races and either won or placed. So it doesn't actually matter who you fancy for this weekend. It's all about the handicaps that follow, because everything in here should be reasonably well handicapped.
What wins it?
What wins it? Oh, Skelton's got one. Talking of a man for handicaps, I didn't mind a look at that. But what's it called?
Willie the Builder and Be Aware.
Be Aware, who finished behind Lump Sum but carries a lot less weight. I wouldn't be against siding with Be Aware. Also had a look at Liari, who was a 9-2 shot for the Boodles off of a £6 higher mark, and is now 12s, 14s for this. Could be a bit of a price. Or are we being stupid? And you've got 2 Grade 1 hopes, Dysart, Enos and Burdock Road, both in here carrying, or with a rating, sorry, of 131 and 133. It's a good renewal. Graded horse at the top, handicap lurkers at the bottom. I won't mind if one of those Burdock Road or Dysart Enos wins, because we'll be more interested in what's 3rd, 4th and 5th.
It's going to be a race that's going to be replayed over and over and over every week, Joel.
Yeah. No, Burdock Road, round 5-1, been really off flat, hasn't it? So that was that. Dysart Enos, as Frankie says, unbeaten under rolls, 6 from 6. Under control. At what point does under control land the big one for JP and Hendo? I think that's around 10-1. 6 in the Galway Hurdle in August. Looked really slow to me in that race and was beaten 12 lengths. And a price, Black Poppy or Kerry Lee. If you go back to the Christmas Hurdle at Kempton and you set his bare form, was only beaten 13 lengths by Constitution Hill and Rubo and First Street, and First Street bled. So I'd take that as a decent horse, only beaten 13 lengths by Constitution Hill, Black Poppy. I think top price on here is 66s, and I'm sure it'll
We like Kerry Lee on this podcast.
I love Gary Lee on this podcast. More on that in a couple of weeks' time. But
Ooh,
no,
yes.
I'm not there with her. I'm not marrying her. She just got married. Well, look, she's not pregnant. But no, Black Poppy at a huge price to run a place. And Under Control is this the day, because I keep backing this horse blind, and it's either useless or there's some other agenda. But I don't know what it is.
All become clear this week. Right, you need to join us on Friday then for the Punter's Guide to get our thoughts on the weekend action. We'll have a look at Saturday and Sunday, the Great Wood Hurdle. So make sure you join us. I say like, subscribe, and let you know whenever there is a new either Road to Cheltenham or Punter's Guide dropping. All right, boys, we're underway.
We next stop.
We're
off, and they're racing.
They are indeed. Right, Frankie, you're going to join us for Ball Green on Friday. Joel and me will still be back in Blighty. We'll try and find you a few winners at the Cheltenham November meeting. But every single week, we are going to build up to the greatest show on turf with our Road to Cheltenham series.